Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Authentic Racing E-Series. My name is Olaf, aka Bobs Racing, and I'm joined here today by Peter Cornelius, our beautiful broadcast and race director, to give you the live scenes here from round 5 of the WTCR series. We have completed Vallelunga, Hungaroring, Helpinar, and last week Portimao, and today we are set in Bathurst in Mount Panorama in Australia for a 12-lap race. The previous races were all timed. We had 25 minutes plus 1 lap. Today we have 12 laps. This time I can actually properly count down the laps for you that we still have to go. Next week we have Macau as our season finale. That will be 10 laps. So these final two races, events will be good for me to count down. So we have two races today, as per usual, and it's going to be a reverse grid for the top 10, just as the rest of the season. For the standings, we have William Johnson in first place with 105 points, Ollie Hutton in second place with 94, Matt Reid in third with 91. Now you might notice a few changes in the standings. There has been a disqualification in the league, so we've had some swapping of final positions and final standings that might have switched up some of the drivers. These are your current standings going into round number 5. Johnson, Hutton, Reid, followed by Ellis, Bats, ARS, Riley, Smith, Corvers, and Bailey in the top 10. Now there's some final very close fights here. Johnson is ahead by about 11 points. Then for second place, there's a 3-point difference. Further down the order for P7, there's only 1 point in between, and they're all trailing ARS in 6th with 57 points. It's only about 4 points between 7th and 8th. And then also for P9, we have Corvus and Bailey with only 1 point of a difference. Chaos in the mountain. The track is yellow, as we're going to be seeing maybe a bit more this afternoon, this evening. It's Mount Panorama. It's a circuit that's known for its chaos. Sector 1 has 1 corner. Sector 3 has 4 corners. So Sector 1 and 3 have 5 corners combined. Sector 2, I believe, has about 15 corners. Gonna be chaos. Gonna be a lot of fun. Currently, the final minute of qualifying, Johnson will be in P1 as it stands, and he's gonna have that 5 extra points for qualifying just tucked up in his name. That's what we're going to do for this weekend. So we have a lot of drivers here fighting for the championship. Johnson hasn't won it just yet. From last week, he had a double victory, race 1 and race number 2, both in P1. That jumped him up from 4th position to 1st. So anyone who is currently in the top 10 is still fighting for that win of the championship. And of course, what you need to do here is a good race here for Bathurst. Race number 1 is going to be very important. Race number 2 is going to be just as important. Remember, the top 10 is going to be a reverse grid. So if you're finishing in P10 in race number 1, you will be starting on pole position for race number 2. That being said, checkered flag is out, so we're going to have the final few moments on the racetrack. We have a few cars still doing their laps. Currently coming on to the line is Ellis in the on their final lap. Ellis currently driving the Cupra and is set in 4th place. So that's the position that Johnson was in last week. Ellis has had 1 podium so far. Victory in Vallelunga. So that's a few weeks ago, quite a while. Might be looking to get something done here, but starting from P12, that is going to be a little bit difficult. It looks like Johnson actually does not have pole position. It's up to Budgeon, who I don't think has raced with us before. Who's currently sat in the pits, who has that P1 to his name. It's going to be a 2-minute 12.6. Johnson in second place with a 2:13.2, so that's quite a big gap from first to second. I'm sure we're going to see some good racing in our 2 events. Hutton here showing us what not to do on the Skyline, one of the infamous corners for hitting the sand and hitting the barriers. So the final drivers are now going through Johnson on the back end. And Corvers should be our final driver to cross that finish line. That track is still holding full yellow. Unsure why that is exactly, but you should see something. Going back to the pits to get their setup ready for the race. Ellis now through the final turn of the mountain. Forced elbow on his way to the final straight and onto the chicane. There's some important corners as well, because the exit out of the mountain section going into sector 3 sets your base essentially for the rest of the straight all the way into the next chicane. That is going to be looking at. Big curb on the inside, that's going to be difficult too. Braking on the grass, never a good thing. Good drift, good catch. And onto the chicane. That might actually be the fastest I've seen anyone do the chicane in these cars. That's quite a situational achievement. If he's going to use that in the race, I will pray for anyone who gets close. Drivers all ready to set their start for their race. It currently looks like Budgeon has got that pole position. Johnson in second place and Ferrero in third. He's got a Civic in P1, followed by a couple of Cupras. We have Budgeon in with us for the driver interviews. Budgeon, Kevin, welcome.
Hello.
How are we doing, mate?
All good, thank you.
I'm obligated to end my sentences with mate or start them. We're in Australia, mate.
That's
So
right, mate.
from
Good, mate.
from P1, what's going to be the chances of victory and what's going to be the chances of chaos?
Don't know really. It's been a while since I've played, so just going to keep it pinned all the way.
It looks like you've got quite the gap over Johnson for qualifying, at 12.6 compared to a 13.2. That's it's a high 6 and a very high 6 and a very low 2. So it's about half a second between you two. Is that going to be the
Nah,
advantage
because
during the race pace as well, or is it just
I
qualifying?
can't, I can't do that consistently. That was just a one-off lap, I think.
Well, it sounds like you've got some competition, but might be closer than we think at the moment. Johnson, what's going to be the play for turn 1? More importantly, what's going to be the play for turn 2, I think.
Don't die.
Well, I think that's going to be the play for the entire race, the
Entire
mountain as
race,
well,
yeah.
not just turn 1 and turn 2. But there's going to be a cheeky look on the inside for turn 2, or are you going to play it safe and hope that someone else crashes out?
Well, I can't give Kevin any spoilers, but we'll just see what he does then. If he gives me
No,
it.
I'm not really in the championship. I've missed so many races, so I'm just going to take it easy if
That
anyone's
is
around.
Yeah.
true. That is true, Kevin. Is it your first time with us this season?
Yeah, this season. I was going to do the whole season, but holidays got in the way. You can't, so it's the first time back.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. We have a drop round, so you might get close somewhere. I don't think you're in for the championship victory anymore,
No,
but it should
there's
still
only
be a
there's only
close fight with
two
some
two
for guys
races
for the back.
left. No,
Yeah,
it'd be
there's
good.
I believe a total of 55 points for a weekend, so that means you can still get 110 points realistically. You have pole position, that's 5 points in the pocket already.
Oh, happy
Um,
days.
which which does mean that if everyone else everyone else DNFs, you can still get the championship.
Well, I'm not going to. Well, if William crashes on his own, I'm not going to have anything to do with it. So that's up to him whether he keeps it on the tarmac or not.
I'll
Well,
certainly try.
I hope everyone keeps it on the tarmac, but I might want to I might want to see a little bit of chaos up and down the hill. What's going to be more important slash difficult, like up or down the hill?
Well, up and down's going to be fine. It's a bit in the middle that everyone's got to worry about, I think.
Yeah, the fast corners, the left-hander skyline. That's going to be the place where you think people are going to hit the. I saw Ollie Hutton actually already go over the sand quite far, so we might get some off tracks there. Hopefully not. Hopefully we all keep it within
Yeah.
the lines. Thank you guys so much for having this little chat. Go and get prepared for the race. You got 3 minutes until the lights go out. So best of luck, and hopefully we'll see you here after the race.
So thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Good luck, Will.
You too.
All right, with the driver interviews out of the way, both of them sounding very happy, very chipper with the race. We got the cars already on the grid. This will be for race number 1. Kevin Budgeon our first timer here at Bathurst, instantly picking the most difficult track for us for the season. I think Macau is also kind of a bit difficult, but we'll see how that lands when we go there with these machines. Budgeon on pole position, William Johnson alongside on the front row. Second place, he's going to have a look around the outside for turn 1, and maybe if he keeps it alongside the inside for turn 2, stir up some chaos. P3, Alexander Ferrero. He's going to be starting from that second row. David Schneider right behind him, or should I say alongside. That fills that second row with all Cupras. Then we have Bailey and Riley, the two that we saw last week out, have some competition at Portimao. Both Link & Co cars in on that third row. We have Benares in 7th place, followed by Rick Corvers in 8th. Ollie Smith inhabits the 9th place, and Renee Young pops off on the final space of the top 10. Then we have Ollie Hutton, who we saw go off on the sand in Skyline. Hopefully he's going to keep it on the track for the rest of the race today. Verman in 12th place. Ellis has got 13th. Matt Raid in 14th. Leo Dixon 15th. And Bringston in 16th, our final spot on the grid. 16 cars all fighting their way to the lead of the race, currently held by Kevin Budgeon. 1 more minute before the lights go out. We do have a few missing drivers today. I feel like Noah Baats has proved himself not present today, so he's going to be stepping out for today. He's currently sat in 5th place. Start position will be open for grabs by Benares and Riley. Ollie Smith, Corvers, and Bailey all quite close. Baats currently has 79 points. And that's a big gap further down, about 22 points to Benares. That is what you get for a victory. So if he does cross the line in a podium position, you might expect him to jump up a position at the very least. The final seconds before the lights, standing start as per usual. Drivers are revving their cars, burning a tiny bit of fuel. All necessary to get the revs up. And we should be go at Bathurst. Bad start for Budgeon as he does stall a tiny bit. William Johnson going beside him and completely in front. Should have turn 1 completely for himself. Budgeon does hold off Ferrero in 2nd place. This looks to be Riley getting a good start there as the cars slightly disappear in the distance. We have Schneider on the chase though on Bailey. They're going up towards turn number 2. But Johnson completely clear. Budgeon going defensively as it does Bailey here. Schneider is trying to go around the outside. Does not make it work and has to stick behind. We do have Riley and Ferrero still side by side as we go on to the left-hander. Riley does get the better off of Ferrero. He's now sat in 4th place. Benares making his way through Ollie Hutton just ahead of Corvers. They're chasing their way through up the hill and onto the more important section of the track. Stay from Budgeon, who is in 2nd place. Riley taking away 3rd place from Ferrero. Then they are followed by Bailey, Schneider, Benares, Ollie Hutton up to 8th place. Rick Corvers in 9th, and Ollie Smith final spot in the top 10. Now down the hill, Johnson goes. He's got quite the lead already from the looks of it. He'll be looking to keep all of that. No one's in the wall just yet. We see some side-by-side action a little bit further back. That might be Young and Bringston further back in a fight. Bailey here has got Schneider right behind him. Johnson leading out of sector 2, but Budgeon does get close a tiny bit after that first few, the first 2 sectors. He's lining himself up correctly. Johnson slightly on the right-hand side of the track. There's nowhere that Budgeon can go realistically going into the chicane. Those are your top 3. That is Schneider on the inside of Bailey, who does have his nose alongside still. Benares able to capitalize on this if anything goes wrong. That's Schneider a little bit on the sand. And that's Schneider still behind Bailey, but more importantly ahead of Ben. First lap completed. Johnson still in the lead comfortably. Budgeon in 2nd with Riley in 3rd place. There is your top three. That's quite the lead that Johnson has over the competition. It's more side-by-side action. I believe that to be ARS and Schneider. That's not ARS and Schneider. So yeah, that's Hutton maybe with ARS. That is Ollie Hutton, the number 22 machine, side by side with ARS as they're going up the hill. And Ben holding on to that position. Ollie staying behind in 8th place. Corvers behind them. That's going to be another side by side. Ben will have the inside line going up the hill. Ollie has to stick behind. Now gets attacked by Rick Corvers. They're going on to the skyline, the middle part, the important bit that we just talked about. And it is Corvers through. Ollie Hutton down to 9th place. As Jacob Ellis follows this back on through a little bit too far behind to do anything. Brixton right there has dropped quite far down. And the lead cars are all loose from this battle that's being led by Schneider. And we have Budger now down to 4th place. That's of course not something that you like to see. Ollie Smith and Renee Young now in a fight. That's going to be a tap in the final corner. Jacob Ellis trying to make his way through. Does get past Young. Now side by side with Ollie Smith. And should be passed there as well. It's a good run there from the two. Ollie Smith losing out on this fight, not by one, but with 2 cars, now down to 12th place. Johnson still in the lead, but Riley going up to 2nd place. And Budgen now down to 5th, so our pole sitter is down in 5th place. Currently looking at Johnson and Riley. Riley around the outside, just trying to get a look there. Do believe that Johnson will hold on to this if he can get a good exit. And Ferrero now in 3rd place, and the fight has gone back to the front runners. Well, that's going to be a look from Riley. He's got the outside line. Johnson holds on to the inside. Important for turn number 2. Johnson still staying ahead. That's not Riley, that's Bailey. It's Bailey actually, who's gone on to this fight. Hold on, that's Budgen. Oh, this is the fight with Budgen for 4th place. Apologies, I've misread deliveries completely. This is Budgen, and behind him Bailey in the yellow car. That's Corvers getting a slight hit from Schneider. This is going to be the fight for P4. Corvers with a small slide there. They're onto their skyline going down the hill, and this is a big angle of cars that starts with Budgen and ends with Brixton. That's from 4th to 13th, all in this fight. As they're moving on down the hill, and the top 3 is completely loose a bit further down the track. Corvers here on the way downhill, misses the barrier that Bailey just slightly taps. We're looking at a strong fight here. And of course, the hill's very difficult to overtake, so they'll have to keep it into this other section of the race. Track. Budgen, currently not Budgen. He's holding on to 4th. Bailey doesn't look for it just yet. No one has a big look there into the chicane. They're all keeping it quite clean. So they're filing their way through on their way to the start of their next lap. This year, top 3, Johnson, Riley, Ferrero coming on through. And here we have the rest of the grid, Budgen, Bailey, Corvers. And Benares dropping down to 11th. That's not going to be the best start that he has. Matt Ray down to 13th. Ollie Smith in 14th. There he's away in the back, followed by Wehrman and Dixon. So Smith and Ray haven't really had the best starts to their races. Neither is Budgen, who's now set in 4th, is currently being attacked by Bailey as they're heading up the hill. Some contacts, small taps as they are going and moving up. And Budgeon is still holding on. The order is as they were. It's very difficult to get past in the mountain section. They are getting quite close. The fight was from 4th to 13th. They have spaced out a tiny bit. The front one's still quite close. Also going quite fast compared to their deltas. Currently looking at Ollie Smith behind Mad Raid, and that is a car. That's Brinkston, who's hit the wall. Oh, that's another car that goes sideways, flying all the way down. That is going to be a lot of damage. That's Leo Dixon, who's backwards on the downhill. Should be able to get out of the way. Going on to the runoff area there. He is stationary and making his way through. He's trying to reverse himself and should be doing that. Right now, he is going back to the pits. Dixon will be out of the race for now. I'm not sure what happened there, but Dixon completely upside down. So he's out of this race. Leo Dixon in the pits now. He might leave at some point. And Brinkston also a lot of damage to his car. But he is still going. The problem that these cars might be having is the temperature. Dixon does actually get going again, but he will be a lap behind everyone else. The track currently 43 degrees Celsius, which is quite warm. The car's 100% going to be feeling that. As they're making their way through the mountain. It's sunny in Australia. So that will mean a slight bit of trouble. Of course, the mountain section, notoriously difficult. The downhill here being one of the most difficult corners of the track. And Corvus proves that by just slightly tapping the barrier, losing a position from Snyder. And Hutton on the chase now. Said it's difficult to overtake, not impossible. And of course it's possible when someone makes a mistake right ahead of you. Corvus with a big slide. Goes through the wall a little bit NASCAR style. And Ollie Hutton up to 7th place. Corvus now down to 8th. Riley seems to be slowing down a tiny bit. Ferrero gaining on him in that sector 2, sector 3. Budgeon still holding on to 4th place. Might have had a small problem when he dropped down to 4th. Bailey now hot on his rear. Bailey currently sat in 10th place. He's had a few top 3 starts, no podiums just yet. Currently chasing down P4, which is just outside of those podium positions. And remember, race 2 will be a reverse grid for the top 10. That will be currently Ellis, who we're looking at right now, going through the first sector. Chasing down Ben ARS, so this is still an important fight. But, I think the train from Budgeon now, all the way down to Young in 11th. Any one of them could be sat here in 10th place that Ellis is holding at the moment. He was quite confidently looking up the track limits. Johnson here, 3.5 seconds off Riley. who has gained some pace in relation to Ferrero. So Riley now just over 3 seconds behind Ferrero in the distance there, 2.5 seconds. But the top three quite secure. Spurgeon is about 10 seconds behind Ferrero. So that makes 15 seconds from Ferrero. Would be able to push a little bit more onwards with Budgeon. He's the one that's got the pressure behind him. Bailey, Corvers, Hutton. And Schneider's in the middle of that as well in the red car. Chasing down Bailey now. Who wants to attack but has to look behind. He's got to be careful where Bailey's going to put the car. And be certain of your move. This is one of the places where you can get an overtake in. It's into the chicane. You can also get into the final corner, the first corner. Turn 3 is very, very popular as well. Schneider's getting quite close. Towards turn 1, trying to get past Budgeon. And it is again close for Schneider, not close enough for a move, but this does set him up properly for turn number 2. Train being caught. Not close enough just yet. So he's going to stay behind. Brake on time. Tap the curb on the inside. Ride the curb not on the outside. Schneider just playing it a bit more safe. That's a lockup from Bailey. He's going a tiny bit deep into turn 4. Schneider not close enough to get the overtake done though, so he's going to be sat in 6th for now. And this is another testament to how difficult it is to overtake. Schneider almost kissing the inside barrier there. Just cannot get past just yet. Even though Bailey does have a slight mistake. Ellis now on to the curbs. Tiny bit, some damage here. It is going down the hill. Got overtaken by Young, who now inhabits that 10th place. Big Ben or Corvers or Hutton might have resorted to going for that 10th place for the reverse pole. Young, Ellis still on it. Matt Raid within 2 seconds, and Ellis is now looking for an overtake. Setting himself up properly for the next chicane might give him that position before the King looking to the right-hand side. Might just put some pressure on Young, who knows he's not going to send it just there. Keeps his ground. Breaks a tiny bit towards the middle of the track, and Ellis has got nowhere to go but stay behind. He's going to try again on another occasion. So Ellis not able to improve back to that 10th spot. In the meantime, Matt Raid is getting closer. Lap number 8, which means we've gone over the halfway mark of race number 1. Of course, they'll have their revenge for race number 2 if they get close enough. The gap ahead increasing. Johnson currently in first, Riley second, just over 4 seconds. And Ferrero is getting closer to that second place. Currently 1.5 seconds off of Riley. He's been trying to be consistent with his laps. Putting it somewhere in the 2-minute 14s. Should be enough to catch up to Riley a tiny bit. He has done so slightly. Now Ellis is under pressure from Raid. This is going to be the fight for 11th place. Raid was leading the championship and is a very, very good qualifier. He's missing out today by quite a lot. A bit wide there on Skyline. Same wide moment for Ellis a few corners further up ahead does hit the wall, but because of the nature of this track, Raid is not able to get past any other track, and Ellis might have shot off onto the distance, not to be seen again by Matt Raid, except for in the mirrors. But now, this track, unforgiving and forgiving at the same time, is giving Ellis a small reprieve, but that will slow him down on the exit of Forest Elbow. Matt Raid now is going to be side by side for the kink right-hander, and Matt Raid completely past. Ellis looking for something, but that's just not the pace that he has. Slots in behind and gives up for the chicane. Matt Raid up to 11th. He's got some time before the end of the race. Might be able to push up to Young, who's got about 7 seconds to Ben. That gap only increasing as well, but he does have Ellis still behind, and that's slightly deep there for Matt. But he holds on to 11th. Schneider now looking at Bailey. This is for 5th place. And ultimately also 5th place on the grid. So whoever loses out in this fight might sit on that 5th place for the next grid. Bailey going defensive a tiny bit. Schneider looking around the outside, but can't get it done. He's going to have to sit behind and wait for another opportunity that might just only present himself at the end of the mountain section as they're going up the hill. The mountain's basically divided into two sections. This is before Skyline. Now we're heading onto Skyline, which is the top part of the mountain, which is probably why it's called Skyline. A little bit of track here that dips underneath that makes the car slide. Schneider making use of that. And now we're going after Skyline, which is all the way down the hill. And where with the uphill, you have a little bit of help from the track by making it a little bit steep. You get the opposite of it from the downhill. So where you would have had more acceleration or more downforce, I should say, more grip, mechanical grip on the uphill, not necessarily acceleration because you have to go up the hill. You have less braking and less grip on the downhill, easier to slide about and make one of those mistakes that we saw with Leo Dixon, currently in 15th place, 1 lap behind. Schneider does not make an appearance for a move. Stays in 6th so far. And top runners not moving positions. Top 4 pretty much solid. There's Budgen who goes past, and Bailey and Schneider fight for 6th place. Fight for 5th place, I should say. The only thing that is currently going. 3 laps remaining as we're on lap 10 of 12. Apologies for that. I missed my mute button on my microphone. I'm still not entirely well, so forgive me for coughing a tiny bit. Bailey here, switching left to right to break up the toe that Schneider will be getting from a small tap on the straight. It's gonna leave Schneider around the outside. Is he gonna move it though? Nope, he will not move it. And Bailey stays ahead. Switching it up like that only confuses the drivers behind. Trying to get them out of the toe, but unpredictability can set in. I'm just happy that did not result in a collision. Bailey is still holding on to 5th place for now. Behind though, we see a black and green car. That's Ollie Hutton. It's being chased down by Rick Corvers. That gap is also shrinking. It's now down to a 2nd. It's a fight for 7th position. So we'll have an eye on that. I'll keep an eye out for that in the background as we go on. Bailey now still ahead, going in the downhill. 2 wheels off the ground. That's gonna hamper your braking potential. So we usually brake with 4 tires. Bailey just did that with 2, and that is something special. It's not something you'd want to do while you're being chased down by David Schneider. So 5th place still up for grabs. 1st place is practically done. 2 more laps remaining for Johnson to stay out in the lead. 5 seconds is what he has on the previous lap. Half a second quicker than Riley. On this lap, we'll have to see. 13.5 once again. Riley puts in a 14.1, so again, half a second faster for Johnson, who is leading the race with only 2 laps remaining. He has about 4 seconds on the driver behind. His name is Christopher Riley. And Ferrero about 2 seconds in between Bailey and Schneider now, swapping positions as they move on to the start-finish straight. Schneider ahead in 5th place. Hutton and Corvers also fighting behind. And Bailey not close enough for another send back, but Schneider getting the move done and moving up to 5th place, dropping Bailey down to 6th. Hutton going on the defensive line, but switching back to the main line, going into turn number 2. Using all the curb available to him, because he has a pushing car behind. These two know each other. They know each other well. Hutton currently second in the standings, 11 points behind Johnson. Finishing 7th will not really help him with his championship chances. And he still has a race too, but we do know that Johnson can do quite some spectacular things. Last week out, he did get 2 victories. And the problem was that that second race has been resulted void. So the victory there does not count towards points, but definitely 100% style points for getting that double victory down in Portimao. Hutton in 7th place will not be happy, but he still has race 2. And he's going to be starting from 4th place as it stands to make his way up the standings. Maybe recover from something, whereas Johnson will start from It's a big point swing in favor of Johnson, who will extend his lead over Hutton, over Raid, over Ellis, of course over Bats, who is not present today in Bathurst. But there's still one more try, one more attempt next week at Macau. Johnson now starting the final lap, lap number 12. Going through turn 1 and now on towards turn number 2. About a 5-second lead over his competition. Started in 2nd place, and Budgeon dropped down to 4th. Dropped down to 5th at some point, I believe. Now up to 4th again. Johnson from that 2nd place up to 1st. Ferrero still in 3rd, but Riley taking away a spot there in the middle. Get that 2nd place position. Still anything can happen. We're still not through the mountain just yet, and even still there's something more that can happen. Schneider and Hutton now fighting. Hutton completely wide, hits the barrier. He's now behind Schneider once again. Bailey in 7th. Almost got Corvers knocking on his door. They're going a tiny bit wide, opening it up for Ben ARS, who is quite close behind them. That's Corvers and Ben side by side going up the hill. That's Corvers with the advantage going into Skyline. Ben not able to hold on or keep his car alongside enough to make Corvers scared and get him out of that position. Currently Schneider in 5th, followed by Hutton, Bailey, Corvers and Ben. Young about 11 seconds behind them. Just going through Skyline now, as we're already down the hill with this pack of cars. Ben quite close to Corvers there in the back. You're currently looking at Johnson. Did a phenomenal race from 2nd place. Great start again. P1 instantly off the line. Has led every single lap of this race and will win race number 1 if he keeps it out of the barriers of the final turn. Beautifully done. 367. William Johnson crosses the line. That will be victory in race 1 for Johnson, putting him in 10th place for race number 2. Riley, then Ferrero for your top 3 in race number 1. Kevin Budgeon holds on to 4th place, crosses the line, and does get those points added up to his tally. Then Schneider just ahead of Hutton, held on to it for 5th and 6th. 7th place for Bailey. Ben and Corvers finishing in that order for 8th and 9th place. Rene Young crossing the line in just a moment as well, getting the reverse grid pole position, putting him alongside Corvers in second place. And the rest of the finishers, Matt Raid in 11th, Jacob Ellis in 12th, and Ollie Smith in 13th, Wehrmann in 14th. Wehrmann currently on the back end. Behind him is Brinkston. Who's one lap down on everyone else. And Leo Dixon has gone back to the pits. There he is, Jericho Brinkston. Small spin in the final chicane. A little bit of practice for race number 2. He's going to be crossing the line and get 15th place, which results in 1 point to his total. So winning out is going to be Johnson, dropped down to 10th place. He's going to be dropped all the way because of this reverse grid scenario. So race number 2 will be starting in for your top 3. We'll see them pop up soon enough. Final drivers now making their way through as we are finishing up our final lap. And what's even more impressive is if we take into account our ballast and everything and our championship standings, giving Johnson about 50 kilograms of ballast. He's here with us now. Johnson, how did that extra 50 kilograms get you across the line?
It definitely affected tyre a bit. Tyres were dropping off on the last few laps. Surprisingly, it wasn't too bad on this track though. I thought it would definitely be worse. It's only around like the last 2 laps that I really noticed it.
Did you notice it in the chicane or in the mountain? Of course, you noticed it in the mountains. I mean, you can't not notice it in the mountains.
No.
But getting P1, it was quite a significant run there. You got P1 from the line, Budgeon with a bad start, got past him, and controlled it from the top. I think that was was it controlled or were you actually just sweating down there?
I was definitely sweating a bit. I didn't want to crash, but we did manage to keep it pretty clean. I did nearly flip it one time, but we saved it. Yeah, I think it was just
And storming in for P2 to take that away from your end, Riley. Where did you start even? I thought you started in P4, P5.
I think around there, yeah.
Yeah. So P2, how did that came to be? I just looked at the standings. I saw Johnson in first, Budgeon in second, Ferreira in third, and all of a sudden Budgeon was down in 5th place, and you were up in second.
I think for me, it was more of the launch that I got off the start because I gained a lot of places. And when the grid started to kind of spread out a bit, I knew my place and I just knew I had to hold it. I'd also just like to take this opportunity to say thank you to our sponsors, What's That Smell, the band, for allowing me to get into this series with this car, and TJ McCormick's driving school.
We've put it on the podium. This is your first podium, actually, from having quite a few top 3 starts. How does that feel?
Feels absolutely fantastic. Really
Hopefully,
does.
we get to redo it for race number 2, because you're going to be starting from 9th, right behind Ferrero, who also has, I believe, his first podium with us. Alexander, welcome. Mr. Ferrero, you are currently muted. And I believe he will be. There. Oh, there he is.
Hello?
Hello. Now we can hear you.
Oh, I have nothing to say really. I started where I finished. It was really, that's about it.
Well, I mean, you must have some idea of what's going to be happening in race number 2, right? You're going to be starting in 8th place. You finished where you started this race, which is on the podium, which is fantastic. But I doubt you want to finish in P8 for the next race. So what's going to be the plan? What's going to be the angle of attack?
Uh, yeah, survive, keep it consistent. That's about it.
Yeah, I think surviving is the right term. How's that going to be from P10, Johnson?
That'll be interesting. I just gotta hope it stays clean through everywhere.
Well, we've seen a few crashes, some up the hill. I think we saw a big one down the hill. Dixon did not take to the racing track anymore, and I think we saw Ellis sideways, who ended up in Ellis ended up in 12th place still, so that's not too bad. But well, with only two big crashes and incidents down the hill, it's quite peaceful still. Did you guys experience that on the grid as well? Or was it gone for you three and then not looking back anymore?
I did definitely have a few frights. The back end of the car did kick out a bit going downhill, but other than that, I started to kind of get used to it the more I went around.
All right. Well, that's going to be, I think, all the questions that I have for the next race. Of course, you guys are going to be looking at a P10, 9, and 8 starts for you three. So good luck, have fun, keep it out of trouble, keep it out of the barriers, and hopefully we'll see you back here again for the interviews for race number 2.
Hopefully. Thank you.
All right, that was your top 3 for race number 1. William Johnson, Christopher Riley, and Alexander Ferrero. Your 3 main drivers. Johnson with a 50-kilogram ballast. That is going to be quite a lot. Looking at the start of the grid. 50 kilograms, of course, comes from the fact that he's gone first place in the standings. P1 gets a 50-kilogram ballast. P2 40, P3 30, P4 20, and P5 10 kilograms apiece. And then we have our extra ballast for the Elantra. Today we have Rene Young on pole position for race number 2. Right alongside him, we have Rick Corvers on P2. Right behind them, Ben ARS on position 3, and Andrew Bailey alongside, completing that second row. Then it's on to Ollie Hutton in 5th place. And then we have Schneider alongside him in position number 6. Budgen has got 7th place. Let's hope that he's got a better start here than on race number 2. Then your podium sitters, Alexander Ferrero in 8th place. And then we have Riley in 9th, who now has taken to the grid. Riley is going to be starting from 9th position. Johnson will be starting in 10th. And the rest of the grid is as they finish, with Matt Raid in 11th, Jacob Ellis alongside him for position number 12. Ollie Smith will be in 13th. Arno Wehrmann alongside for 14th. Bringston in 15th, bringing the car home. And Leo Dixon having a big moment in the middle of Sector 2 in the mountain. He's going to be starting from 16th, from last place. The drivers all getting their cars ready. Rene Young ready to start from the pole position. Rick Corvers in 2nd place. We'll see if these two drivers are going to have a repeat of what happened in the start of the race. The Elantra ballasted with another 25 kilograms. They're going to be having a good run into turn 1. And of course the tire wear towards the end of the race. But it's all on to the start now. The 6 lights are going to be on. And we are driving at Bathurst for race number 2. A good launch for Rene Young. Corvus staying behind. Ben ARS has got a very bad start. Bailey just passed him for position number 3, but he does send it on to the inside again for that 3rd place. Holds on to it for now, but Bailey will be alongside Ollie Hutton. It's going to be chasing him down quite far. Johnson's dropped down to 12th place alongside for Bailey and Ben ARS going into turn number 2. Bailey is currently ahead, has the inside line, and Hutton being attacked by Schneider in the red car on the right-hand side of the track. Will have the inside line as well. Ben ARS breaks very deep, gets stabbed a little bit, but Bailey keeps it ahead and claims that 3rd place. Meanwhile, Corvers is looking on Young. That's going to be turn number 3 and 4. A little bit too difficult to get past, so Young stays ahead of Corvers in 2nd place. Ben ARS claims 3rd, Bailey down to 4th, Schneider 5th, followed by Hutton, Budgen, Ferreira, Riley, and Johnson back up to 10th place. So Raid, Smith, Ellis quite fighting with each other going up that hill. Small contact as we go up, but everyone should still be driving as we make our way through sector number 2. It's a great start from our 2 front runners. Corvus there a bit shaky there as he makes his way through the latter part of Skyline. Going down the hill now, Young is still ahead, but the gap is really small. That's going to pose something for the exit. Then we have some lockups. That is going to be Riley, who's dropping down the order. He's currently in 10th place, and he is not moving. He is currently down to 16th, and he's moving again. Oh, that is not moving. That is flying. That's not allowed, I'm afraid. Rene Young still in the lead, but we'll have Corvus knocking on his back door, trying to see if he can get his car situated anywhere. But I doubt he can, because Ben ARS is here to fight on the inside, going to the kink for the final chicane. Is that going to be contact? It will be contact. That's 3 cars out. That is your top 3 onto the grass. Young all the way in onto the sand. Ben ARS slid in there as well. We have Corvus in the midst of all of that, and Bailey inheriting the lead of the race. Schneider trying to have a look, but the inside fully covered off by Bailey. The 601 in the advantage here at the end of lap number 1. It's going to be Schneider who has the fastest lap for now, trying to look for something. Young recovering, currently in 13th place. Johnson's moved up to 6th, Ferreira up to 5th. It's Riley all the way back. He has gone back in. I believe Riley is currently in 14th place. He is moving along. Johnson having a very good start. Hutton and Budger now fighting for that 3rd place. A little bit further ahead, we have some more drivers like Wehrmann, Bringston fighting. Bailey currently trying to hold on to the lead. Schneider with that fastest lap, and lap number 1 was quite quick. Bailey inheriting the lead after the top 3 all crash out in that final chicane. Where was the mistake? I am not sure. It might be one driver sliding and the others getting collected. This will be the race for the lead. Bailey, just like Riley, has had a couple of top 3 starts, but just has not been able to put his car on the podium. Riley did it in race number 1, so maybe he'll get it in race number 2. Budgeon and Smith into the pit. Smith has now left. Ellis has gone back to the pits as well. Ben ARS is quite far down now in 13th place. Smith deciding that this race was not his and has checked in for the did not finish, which will result in 0 points. Ellis and Budgeon still in the pits, so they might get out at some point. But they will be a full lap down compared to the rest of the grid. Both stationary as it stands. So they won't be fighting for any big points, but they will be fighting for the last point, or the last few points, which will be for 14th and 15th. 15th getting 1 point and 14th getting 2. So they will still be fighting for that. No race 3, so no reverse grids to fight about. Bailey on 2 wheels through the chicane. In the way through the final turns of the racetrack. A bit deep there for Ferrero. Johnson getting closer, now up to 4th place. Dixon slowing down. Wehrmann on through. Dixon into the pits. Corvus through as well, up to 8th place. And Johnson starting in 10th. Last week had a double victory. Did not count because the second race was void. So no points being handed. But he might want to do it again. This is Riley now getting chased down by Hutton. Hutton starting in the top 5. More importantly, in 5th place. Now down to 10th place. A lot of drivers in the pits now. It's Dixon, Young, Smith, Budgeon, and Ellis. And Young, of course, part of that incident going into the chicane. And Bailey, he's got it to his name. Currently, he's getting it very difficult for Schneider, who's trying to chase him down. Currently moving through Skyline Looking at Wehrmann now in 7th place. Good position for him to be in. Has not had the greatest races. Portimao was kind of rough, but he's making his way in the top 10 now, or has made his way. He's now trying to stay there on lap 3 out of 12 for race number 2. Of course, the big bugs being paid, the big points being given to the man's out in front. Bailey currently holding on to 25 points if he holds this from Schneider. Corver's now through on Wehrmann for 7th place, dropping him down to 8th. Riley and Hutton swapping places as they're making their way through the final sector. And Schneider now looking a tiny bit in the mirrors of Bailey, making himself known. Know where he can go. A quarter of the race down and nothing short of action, with our top 3 being crashed out in the chicane on lap number 1. Schneider looking very heavily, getting squirrely on the exit. There's Ferrero and Johnson. And Johnson really looking feisty there, wants to attack. Has got a rough race already, starting from P10. He's quick, he's fast. We thought that Budgeon might be a problem for him, but he's made quick work of it. Bailey absolutely defensive into turn number 2. Ferrero the exact same. Schneider not on through. Johnson is through for now. Goes very wide, takes all the curb and has to stick behind. And Schneider looking to take the lead away from Bailey. Johnson did not get the overtake done, but Schneider did. That's Schneider up to P1 and Bailey down to 2nd place. Ferrero and Johnson as they were in 3rd and 4th. Still quite close, but they have to look again once they reach the downhill part of the track. After forced elbow, they can make their way through the chicane. If you've just joined us and you're wondering where is our top 3, well, our top 3 is all the way down. Rick Corver's in 7th place. Got in with some contact with Young, who's now in 12th place. He has gone out of the pits and is still driving. We will be down a lap, I believe. And Young was in a fight with Benares is at the moment currently sat in 11th place, a little bit further down. That's Wehrmann making a mistake on the downhill. Riley getting held up there. Hutton going on through. Riley is not going to be happy with that. He got pushed into the wall, nowhere he could go really. And Wehrmann with a bit of damage, dropping to the rear part of our top 10. So rough race at the moment. The lead almost being swamped here, with Schneider going around the outside of Bailey to hold on to the lead. Bailey is still in 2nd place. Johnson now with the fastest lap, the 4 of them getting real close. This is now a 4-way battle for 1st place and for the rest of the podium. Schneider getting the best out of all of it. Currently P1, Bailey 2nd, Ferrero Johnson following them. Matt Raid has got quite some clear air ahead of him to try and make something happen. And if these top runners continue to fight, he might get close at some point. Bailey now holding up Ferrero, allowing Schneider to go on through and create a bit of a gap as they're heading up the hill. Finishing up sector 1 now. Making their way through the middle part of the track, the tricky part of the track. Long sweeping left-handers a bit too early on the steering wheel. You'll hit the inside wall. A bit too late, you'll hit the outside wall. Too early on the throttle. Too late off the throttle. It's all a mistake. It's all precision. Making their way through Skyline and Bailey holding on to it well. And you have to worry about what happens once they hit force elbow. Ferrero already looking for something, where Bailey is desperately trying to hold on. Ferrero already having a podium. Johnson as well. They want to make a 2 for today. Bailey under lots of pressure from the number 777 Cupra. They're fighting for a 2nd place here. Bailey towards the inside, trying to hold on to that second spot and not fall prey to Johnson behind. But Ferrero not having any of that, trying to look towards the inside, putting Bailey off the track, or at least off the racing line. That puts Johnson in the mix. It's now 3 people very close for a fight into the final corner. Bailey ahead. It stays as they were, and these are the positions that you can get something done. The gap now in front, already 2 seconds, so Schneider just running away with it, while the rest of the 3 trying to make something out of this fight, try to get that second place and maybe chase for first. But the longer this holds on, the further Schneider will go. So Ferrero, he's going to be looking ahead. He's going to try slipstream that he can. So going a bit side by side with Johnson, going into turn number 2. Schneider holds the inside. Johnson knows his way around the outside here, but also knows that if he pushes too far, it's going to be into the wall, goes over the curbs. He'll be down to 4th for Johnson. Back to where he was. Small lockup for Bailey. He's going to slow him down a bit. Otherwise, now down to Corvers. After getting tapped out of his top 3 position, he's now chasing down Brixton for 6th place. They are also going up the hill, approaching the halfway mark of race number 2. The 69 car. It's got some leeway further back. That does not mean that he can just send it relentlessly. This is a difficult part. It's a big slide there already. Catches it almost effortlessly as he goes downhill. It will still be Brixton leading Corvers down into the final sector of the track. Schneider just pulling away with it. Bailey doing a good job now finding the pace to hold off Ferrero. So it can't be said for Brixton. He's got Corvers to visit. The inside being taken by Brixton, but there's no way to defend from a car that's already passed. Corvers up to 6th place. And Brixton down to 7th. Ali Hutton in the rear, trying to look to join this fight. It's got about 3 seconds to do so. Young and Werman now swapping places for 11th place. They are the last drivers currently on the grid that are still racing. Dixon, Smith, Budgeon, and Ellis all out of this race. Ellis technically still in, but has been in the pits for quite a substantial amount of time. So I doubt that Jacob Ellis will take to the track once again. Corvers now ahead of Brixton, will have about 7 seconds to make up for. And that's going to be very difficult. This fight now for the final 2 spots of the podium. First place being held by Schneider, who is about 3 seconds clear, because this fighting is slowing them all down. Like they say, they're only as fast as your slowest driver in a battle. Bailey currently 2nd, Ferrero 3rd, Johnson in 4th place. One of these 3 had that phenomenal victory in race number 1, and now stuck behind Ferrero, behind Bailey. Wanted to make inroads on Schneider, but just cannot, because he is now stuck and caught behind 2 drivers that are also fighting for a position, and there's just no way to get this overtake done without getting a little pushy at times. He's going to have to watch out for his braking points, trying to maximize the exits or just avoid the incidents. That's Ferrero into the wall out of Forrest's elbow. And that'll be Johnson up to 3rd place, now chasing Bailey. So Ferrero with a small mistake puts him down to 4th, and Johnson, we know he has the pace, he's absolutely quick. As long as he has not burned through his tires in that first half of the race, he should be able to catch up to Bailey and then try to send in an overtake for P2, and Bailey will do everything he can to hold him off like he did with Ferrero. Bailey with a phenomenal defense now still holds on to P2. Did it for the first half of the race, might have to do it for the second half of the race as well. Corvers in 6th place. Has gained a little bit of time, but I don't think he's going to catch a raid. For 5th, there he is. Raid in the green car, just disappearing in the distance. We might be able to see him here too. And nope, he's already gone. That's a bit too far. Corvers trying to do his best in the previous lap. He has gained about a second to Mad Raid. And he has 5 laps remaining. For about 5.5 seconds. It's going to be very difficult for him to catch Raid and get that 5th place. So he'll just try and get the gap behind as big as possible. As does Schneider, who's about 3 seconds clear of Bailey now. So the cars behind still fighting, and Bailey not able to make any inroads on anything that Schneider's doing. The pace difference here about half a second per lap. That will be advantage for Schneider, who's currently holding on to the fastest lap. And will be trying to hold on to the pace, even though that is so difficult around this track. Bathurst notoriously difficult, of course, and we have seen that time and time again. In qualifying, we saw a big slide for Hutton onto Skyline. We saw a big crash as they made their way through the final chicane. Some more side-by-side action, some sliding out of the exit of turn 1 and turn 2. And it is sort of a miracle that they're still going. It's also a miracle because we have a fight for 11th place, Wehrmann and Young, within 2 seconds. About a minute down from the next fight that we have. That's going to be around P6, 7, and 8. Corvers, Bringston, and Hutton. Riley about 7 seconds away from that. The grid is kind of split. The only thing that's not split is our top 3. Well, our P2 and P3. It's going to be Bailey and Johnson. Now super close through the chicane. Johnson actually might be ahead coming out of it. Bailey is going to be holding on to the inside line for the final turn. He's going to try and push Johnson a bit wide to get the advantage into this final corner, getting the car stopped in time, though. Yes, he can. Absolutely parked on the apex. Nowhere for Johnson to go. The line's going to be taken now by Bailey. He's moving slightly over to the inside. Johnson faking it around the outside, looking on the inside, going back towards the outside to try and get the best exit that he can. A bit wide, missed the apex. Loses a bit of speed there, but he does have the slipstream going down to turn number 2. Is that going to be another opportunity? We have 4 laps to go. Johnson knows this, and he cannot slip up any more. 5 seconds now behind Schneider is this fight. That's going to be super difficult for Johnson to make up. So either he gets past and settles for P2, or he does not and has to sit in P3. From the looks of it, he does not want to sit behind Bailey, doing his absolute best to defend. Wants to hold on to that podium, and the best chance to do that is to hold off Johnson. So if he does not hold off Johnson, it will be Ferrero. He's going to try. Wants to get another one. Same goes for Johnson, but he currently is in that position. Big slide there for Johnson. These cars liking that skyline. With the bounds, with the airtime, they're still holding on to it. Bailey a bit too much over the curb there, down the hill. It's going to put him on the back foot. And Johnson able to take a better line through Forrest elbow. That is Ferrero. Very feisty, a bit too feisty, and into the wall. We've seen him tap this quite a few times. Johnson now in the slipstream of Bailey. They're making their way through the final bit of sector 3, or the final bit of sector 2 on their way to the chicane. Now Johnson knows this bit. Bailey knows it as well. The inside is being covered off, but now it's down and onto the right-hander king. What happens here? Can they make it through one by one? They do. The inside is open, but Johnson, having the outside line through the king, is going to force him to stay behind. Just simply has more distance to cover. Now towards the final turn. That's going to be defensive from Bailey, but not defensive. Not that defensive that Johnson is going to put his car alongside. And that's ultimately what you want, to give your competitor no space. There it is again. It's a small lockup there for Bailey. It might just put Johnson through. Ollie Hutton and Bringston now fighting for 7th place. They were fighting with Corvers. Bringston's been dropped back a tiny bit. Hutton fighting with him for 7th. Again, small look there on the brakes. Hutton now with the better exit. It's just trailing Brixton with the slipstream. Brixton has to choose where to put his car, allowing Hutton for a look. That's going to be the inside line into turn number 2. Hutton around the outside. Don't think he can put it there. Unless you go for this exit on the switchback, but that's nicely planted by Brixton's going to hold that for turn number 3 as well up the hill. All this is putting Riley and Ben closer to this fight. Ferrero with the tap on the final corner of sector 3, of sector 2. It's going to put him a little bit on the back foot here, but Johnson and Bailey still fighting. Johnson trying something daring, an overtake down the hill. We have not seen that in quite a while. That does not pay off. He's now being thrown to the clutches of Ferrero. A little bit further back behind Bailey. It's again a clear three-way fight for second place. 6.7 seconds for Schneider out in the lead. Matt Raid tumbling down the order. He had been overtaken by Corvers. Now Brixton, Hutton past Riley and Ben through as well. And that looks like suspension damage for Matt Raid. That looks like he's going very, very slowly. That's not somewhere where you want to go. So Raid now tumbling down. But Hutton storming up around the outside of the King. Having Brixton on his outside. It's going to be the inside for turn number next. I don't know the numbers exactly, but Hutton will stay alongside and now moving towards the inside line for the final turn. Can he get the position done? It's going to be for 6th place here. And that is Brixton a little bit too deep. He's now lost out on 6th place, drops down to 7th. So I have to worry about Riley and Ben, who are also fighting behind for position number 8. Going on to the penultimate lap, we do have Schneider ahead of Bailey by about 6.5 seconds, but Bailey is not ahead by 6.5 seconds. He's barely ahead by 6.5 tenths. He's got Johnson and Ferrero still close behind. And these two are clear by about 14 seconds, or these three are clear by about 14 seconds of Corvus in P5. As we have Rene Young has moved back down into the pits. Going down the hill now, Bailey, Johnson and Ferrero. Going up the hill. Now Ben trying to chase down Riley. Brixton only a second ahead. Might be within the grasp if they do chase this man. They got to team up for this. And Riley, whoa, that's into the grass. And Ben is on through to 8th place. That's not what I meant with teamwork, but that's a nice little overtake for free. Johnson's going to hope for the same, but Bailey knows that he's coming, and Johnson knows that he's not going to get that for free. Going to put down the pressure. Bailey falling for it, doesn't go defensive. Keeps the door open, but knows that there's no way you can overtake him there. Bailey's been very strong through this part of the track. As we have our final lap started by David Schneider in the lead. Calm and collected, controlled. Bailey now has to go defensive. Knows that Johnson is too close. Small look up there. It's going to park him on the outside of the exit. Johnson with his small slipstream is going to tuck out now. Try to get his car alongside for turn 2. Bailey will have the inside line to defend. Johnson doesn't have the pace, so sticks in behind again. He's got to go for the late break. Bailey pushes him all the way wide. Upsets the car a tiny bit for Johnson. Loses out on some time for Aero now. The next driver to make a move, and it's going to be on Johnson this time. Johnson loses out. It's going to be pushed wide through turn number 4. Holds on to it for now, gets pushed into the wall. It's contact with Ferrero and the wall. He's been sandwiched. Johnson holds on to P3. Now sits in the chase. Got about 2 seconds to Bailey. Don't think that is possible. So I'll have to defend from Ferrero behind. Both drivers wanting that podium. They've had one, they want another. As they're moving down the hill, see who comes out on top. So they hit the final turn. Ben through on Riley, is now chased down Brixton. So they are making their way up the hill. Difficult part here of the track. One mistake and Brixton might just lose the position. Not one but two, because Riley is quite close. Holds it very nicely and very neatly. Now only down the hill. That should be doable. Ben quite close. Focusing on the exit, might have it as they're making their way through. As Ferrero hops on the inside of Johnson. It was a tiny bit deep, touches the grass. Johnson having faith that that will be the return of the position, and it will be. Johnson up to third place, has to defend from one more corner. It's Schneider around the finish line to win race number 2. Bailey's going to have second place. Johnson heroically holds off Ferrero and has third place, putting Ferrero down in fourth place. The double podium for Johnson at Bathurst today. Corvers in fifth place after getting shunted out. Could have been a victory, but has to settle for P5. Ali Hutton a bit further back will take home another sixth place. It's going to be 2 in a row for the number 22 Elantra. Benares in seventh place, followed by Brixton and Riley, quite close. And then we have Verman in 10th place. Currently making his way down the hill, so we'll have some time. He's currently quite free. Then we have Matt Raid, who is at the moment, I think, making his way down to the finish line. He has crossed the line. That will be 11th place. So Verman will have 10th place for sure. But your victor here for race number 2, David Schneider, then Andrew Bailey, and William Johnson. Ferrero just missing out. And that is for sure an interesting race. We've had a nice little event here. I won't say little, but that was quite the event for race 1 and race 2, of course, having quite significant results here. Should be able to speak with our drivers momentarily. And we have an apology from Ferrero to Johnson in the final bit of the race. You saw that collision with the wall, and Johnson in the middle of all of that. Johnson escaping with that in a third place. And good sportsmanship in the chat. We have our victor with us, and this is David Schneider for P1. That was
Thank you, thank you.
I want to say unexpected. You started from 6th place, then the top 3 went out, and you took P1. How did that go?
I mean, I was just like praying that my teammate could like do the team game because I had like Andrew behind me. He was like I would say it was very tough battle. So I just said, okay, I just need to get past. And then when I just passed, my teammate Alexander Ferrero just helped me to like hold them off, and I just tried to like maximize my pace and fade, bro, because that was, I don't know.
Yeah, once you were past Bailey, that was quite a big gap that you were able to pull, but that was only once you got past Bailey. Bailey, welcome in for second place. Congrats on that, and a hard-earned second place, if I may say.
Very much so. Can you hear me? Sorry, my computer's after doing
Yes,
it.
I can.
Yes.
I can.
Yeah, I saw that teamwork from David, and man, what happened was lap 3, I smacked the inside wall on the top of the mountain, and it didn't cost me much time, but I got loads of damage, and then I just started falling and falling and falling, and that was it. So, yeah, no, it was great to battle with Will again. I just sort of gave up on trying to chase David down. I was like, okay, I'm gonna slow this guy down. I just gun it on the corner exits, and yeah, that was a great battle.
Well, your first podium as well. It's going to be. Is it going to be a repeat next week at Macau?
Well, it's my second podium actually after
Is
last
it?
week. But yes, it is indeed.
Have I missed something in the? Oh my!
Yes, that's okay. Yeah, I this was the race I was most hyped for because I love Bathurst. I really don't like Portimao actually, and I got a second place there. But yeah, I know Macau is not for the faint of heart, so I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah, apologies, I missed that from last week. I think all the standing mishaps and stuff has just messed up my notes a bit. Apologies for that. But the second podium, well, gonna have to make it three then again next week, right? I mean, you said Macau is not for the faint of heart. It's gonna be difficult to overtake there in some places as well. Johnson, third place. You had difficulty overtaking. A good fight there for the final few laps. How did your race go? From starting from 10th. That's a good recovery.
It was, I think, well, I can't remember. I'm too focused on the battle with Andrew. That was great.
And next week we have Macau. Is there going to be? It's quite a similar track at times as well, right? We've got long straights and we have some tight sections. Is it going to be similar strategy, similar fall off with the tires from the ballast?
I imagine so. I haven't drove that track too much, same with this one, but I am still looking forward to it. I'm just looking. I do like the look of the track.
The track is, I can say it's like a Monaco Bathurst love child, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you guys race there. It's going to be 10 laps for race 1 and 10 for race 2, so get prepping, and hopefully we'll see you again next week in the interviews. So that does it for our final driver interviews. Your winners for race 1, Johnson, Riley, and Ferrero. Your top 3 for race 2, Schneider, Bailey, and Johnson for race number 2 at Bathurst. Standings have been updated, and this is the standings that we're looking at now live. We have Johnson in first place, 151 points, miles ahead of Ollie Hutton, who did not get too many great finishes here for Bathurst. Race 1, he finished in 6th. Race 2, he also finished in 6th. That's going to put him down a tiny bit in second place. Matt Raid, also not with the greatest performances today. He's got an 11th place and another 11th place. That's going to be not too great amount of points for him. Put him down 13 points from Hutton. Then we have Ellis Bats, still holds on to 5th place. And then we have Riley, Bailey, Benares, Rick Corvers, Ollie Smith in 10th place. Still some fights in the middle. It's not done yet. Johnson quite far ahead of the competition, but there are still 55 points to be picked up. So that means that the top 4, realistically, or statistically, can still get the championship. So it's not decided just yet. So meet us again next week at Macau because we have our calendar. We've got 5 races done. Vallelunga in race number 1, Hungary race number 2, Elpenar race 3. Then we had Portimao and then Bathurst today, all rounded up. And next week, at the 14th of June, our final round at Macau. 2 races of 10 laps, and hopefully we'll see you all there. So thank you all so much for enjoying and supporting us in this broadcast, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Have a good night.